The United Nations has launched its biggest ever appeal for humanitarian aid, asking for more than $6 billion to help the victims of the Syrian Civil War. A bitterly cold winter lies ahead, and with no sign of an end to the conflict, there are fears that by this time next year, as many as 5 million Syrian refugees will have fled the country. Roger Hearn heads the Save the Children Aid Agency's program in the region, and I spoke to him earlier today. Roger Hearn, first of all, can you give us some idea of the scale of your program?
Look, the program now covers 6 countries, so we work inside Syria, in both government and opposition-held areas, and we work in surrounding countries, in Lebanon, Jordan, Iraq, and also in Egypt. And really the program focuses on almost every need that children might face, so from shelter, food, basic education, and right now, given the hardships of winter, we're looking at winterisation, so basically helping people get through the cold months.
Yes, we've already seen some of those photographs of bitter conditions. What are the extra challenges that winter presents?
We've got teams working right now 24/7, literally at times digging people out of snow. It's so cold, and last night it was -10 in Zaatari refugee camp. So it obviously provides all sorts of challenges for children struggling to survive at the best of times, but you know, with no heating, with no warm clothes, really that extra challenge.
In terms of the basic needs, are you confident that people are getting what they need, or are there a lot of people who are simply don't have a roof over their heads?
There are a lot of people without a roof over their heads. There are a lot of children who are incredibly hungry. We are seeing growing evidence of starvation inside Syria, particularly in some of these siege areas where people basically can't get access to food. I've seen families living in chicken coops, in sort of things that really aren't fit for animals. So people are doing it very, very hard.
How many children need help?
We predict inside Syria probably around 5 million children are in dire need of assistance, and in surrounding countries we have around another 1.2 million children who are refugees in surrounding countries. Really the scale of this crisis is unfathomable. It's something that, having come from Damascus and working in Damascus during peaceful times, to see the fall of Syria and the impact on the region, it's really quite hard to reconcile.
To see so many people suffering, children undergoing such hardship, what's it like for you personally?
Look, I think for me personally, doing something and actually feeling that I can do something to aid the suffering and to save lives means a lot. And in a sense, I feel quite privileged to be able to work with the people that I work with the organisations that I work with. So, you know, I think doing something actually makes it harder. Makes it easier to cope with the crisis.
Those numbers are astonishing, though. I mean, is it in some sense overwhelming, and do you despair that you can't help everyone?
We do despair. I guess the focus for us now is really, now that we know that the conflict is probably going to continue for the long term, it's really keeping up to the scale and keeping the resources flowing that we need to maintain such large operations. We're looking at around probably $250 million of programming over the next 2 years, so it's a massive undertaking.
What do the people say to you? What do they say about the future and what they need?
People have, I think, a great deal of despair about the future, and it's really quite terrible looking at families, looking at basically ordinary mums and dads who have basically lost the ability to be able to care and to protect for their children. And I think that's probably the hardest thing to cope with, seeing, you know, as a father of 2 children, to see other fathers who literally can't provide for their children anymore. It really is heart-wrenching.
You say that you don't see any end in sight to the conflict, so does that make you wonder how you can, in fact, keep helping these people?
We intend to keep driving home to decision makers, to the United Nations, to the Security Council, the absolute horror that children face going through this crisis. And I think that for us is the most important role that we can play, in addition to the support we provide, because we have to prepare people, we have to prepare the international donor community for a long haul, and we don't want to see a situation in 6 months' time where the funding starts to dissipate, yet the refugees are still there and the acute needs are still inside Syria. We really need to keep the interest alive on this.
Roger Hearn, thank you for speaking to us.
Thank you.
And if you'd like to help out, you can call Save the Children on 1800 76 00 11.